Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Wealth Defense Radio, the podcast. I am your host, Josh Nahosa, and I am an independent advisor representative for Swan DFW. And I am here with a man who went to UT Southmost College at the time.
Texas Southmost College, sir.
Texas Southmost College at the time. And it's gone through so many name changes, I'm not even sure you could find that college on Google at this moment in time. But his name is Hector and Josh. Hector is a certified financial planner, which is the top mark in the finance industry, as you can tell, because he's certified.
I am certified. Just certified. Thank you for being here. And this should be an interesting topic today, I think.
It should. So, as you can tell by our sweaters, today is college day. It's
Go Texas Wesleyan Warriors.
No.
Witchcraft.
Nope.
Rams, absolutely.
Yes. Texas Wesleyan was where I went, and I went there so hard my dad is wearing a
Texas Wesleyan jacket or sweater. And he got a full ride scholarship, so that's a big deal. And you graduated with honors, so that's a big deal.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So
the honors program had not been established when I graduated from college.
Yeah.
Or at least nobody told me about it because I was nowhere close. But anyway, other priorities in another life.
We'll go with that.
Yeah.
I guess as you all are watching this, we're about a month away from Fafsa coming due, and that's the financial aid.
Financial aid forms, and it's important to get it done before the deadline.
Right. So this is your reminder.
Yeah.
You may not have a college-age person in your family or in your circle, but I'm sure you know someone that does.
Yep.
Or maybe you are a college-age person yourself. This is a reminder with about a month left. Submit that. It is due. We're recording this in the year 2025, and it is due on June 30th, 2025. A link to that will be in the description wherever you're watching or listening. It'll be that easy. You can just click from this video to that. You could submit the form yourself or with your parents.
Yeah.
Again, it's a pretty big thing that you want to make sure that you do.
It'll be the first thing they ask you for.
Yes.
So just do it.
That'll be Usa.gov/FAFSA. FAFSA. So, our main topic for today, we're going to talk about college as a financial decision, more than a rite of passage. So why don't you talk about that for just a brief second?
Yeah, just most families don't ever really have a conversation about, hey, we're getting ready to invest a lot of money. Is the investment we're getting ready to invest in, is it worth it? We talk about it in cars, we talk about it for homes, we talk about it when we buy a stock. Somehow that part of it isn't talked about a lot when we talk about colleges. So we're going to talk about that today. Yeah,
some financial stuff, some things to think about, maybe, for some families. Yep. It's not college is not a huge deal or undertaking. For some families, it's a massive deal and massive undertaking. So
for somebody to write a check for a couple of $100,000 is not a big deal. For many other families, it's going to be one of the biggest investments that they make, and it should be a good one.
Yep. But before we get into that, we actually have a college news story today.
Oh, okay.
If you're new, we like to start or end our podcast with an interesting news story that sometimes directly correlates to the podcast episode, and most times does not.
But today
kind of does. Purdue's engineering team set a world record a couple weeks ago, as y'all are watching this, likely in the middle of May 2025.
Okay.
What world record do you think an engineering team would have achieved that would be on the front page of NBC News this morning?
They built a robot that could jump 100 yards at a time.
Well, you got the robot part right.
Okay.
They built a robot that has obliterated the world record for solving a Rubik's Cube.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. They have named the robot
Rubik.
Purdue's Cube.
Okay.
They are the University of Purdue. They are now in the Guinness Book of World Records for fastest robot to solve a Rubik's Cube. The previous world record was 0.305 seconds.
Whoa.
The world record now is 0.103 seconds. So that is faster than the average person blinks an eye.
Pretty impressive. Yeah, that's amazing.
It was originally, the last world record was by Mitsubishi, just the electric company.
Yeah.
And this is by a bunch of college students. So
There you go.
good on them. They say the robot could potentially go faster. The problem right now is that the Rubik's Cube disintegrates if they go any faster.
Always a problem.
Yeah. So anyway, good for Purdue.
Good for Purdue. Boilermakers, right?
That is true. The Boilermakers.
Is that like the drink?
I guess it depends on how old you are. For college students, probably.
Yeah.
I think, though, the mascot is like a train conductor guy.
Oh, yeah. The people that make the fuel for the train. Okay.
So, anyway, good for Purdue. Engineering, it's a big milestone, honestly, to
It really
break a
is.
world record by that much.
Yeah.
So, good on them. So, engineering, something likely you can make a lot of money doing.
Yes.
We are going to talk about the other side.
Right.
Right now, things that maybe you wouldn't make a lot of money doing, things maybe you wouldn't want to go and take a lot of college debt for if you're going to go into these particular majors.
Right.
Because, as we talked about, it's a financial decision.
Yeah. There should be a return on investment. That would be a good investment if you're going to say, hey, Dad, I want to be an engineer, or Mom, I want to be an engineer. Then that would be something we would say, oh, that's a good degree, because there's a good chance that you'll make a good income with that degree.
Again, this is strictly from a financial
Right.
perspective. It's just some things to maybe think about.
Right.
So we're going to start with worst undergraduate majors for early in your career. So the article here from CNBC, breaks it up from ages 22 to ages 27. So that's, you're just starting your career, you've just graduated. These are the worst things financially that you could major in. The lowest one is foreign language.
Yeah.
It's about $40,000 is the median annual income for someone that majors in foreign language.
Yeah. And although for some people $40,000 sounds like a lot of money, you don't want to do a $40,000 salary and have $200,000 or $300,000 in college debt to try to pay back on a $40,000 salary. And that's all we're trying to get to is make sure that whatever you're going to go into as a career has a chance of paying back whatever your college debt is.
Sure. Some of these are more calling-based things that you would maybe do. I'll cite early childhood education, special education, general education, like if you're a teacher.
Right.
Social services is on here. Theology and religion degrees are on here. So some of those are callings that you may feel like you want to do and make a difference in society, but it's also something you want to think about not going a couple $100,000 in debt to do.
That's right. And so we have at the church that we attend, I get to visit with a lot of people that are thinking about careers in ministry. You know, the very first thing I got to tell them is you recognize that you're not going to get rich in this world's terms.
Sure.
Doing that. We need people to do that. And there's, like you say, people that are called to do that. But don't go into that thinking, I'm going to make, several $1 million and I'll be able to retire. But you're just not. God's going to take care of you, I believe, if that's your calling. And you still have to be a good steward and prepare for your retirement. But it's not going to be a career that you'll have tax problems by paying too much money in taxes. I can almost guarantee.
For sure. It's just something to think about, because you don't want to be paying off your college tuition till you retire.
That's right.
Or beyond, even, potentially, which is a distinct possibility.
That's right.
The next thing that the article talks about here is the worst for the middle of your career. So now we're moving to ages 35 to 45. It's the same batch, essentially. It's still early childhood education, elementary education, general education, special education, secondary education. Basically, if you're going to go into education, maybe don't go take large loans to go do that.
And I'm gonna share a secret that we share at seminars. Is there's a magic number on how much debt would be as a financial planner that I would say, yeah, that makes sense. About 1 time first year salary in whatever you're going to do might be appropriate. So a school teacher that's going to make $50,000 a year first year out, to graduate with $50,000 in debt, that might be okay, probably a little higher than I'd like, but that gives you a chance to pay this thing off in 5 years or something. But like you're saying, $50,000 salary with a $200,000 or $300,000 college debt, you're going to be paying that. They're going to start dinging your Social Security check. Is what they're going to do, because it's going to be almost impossible to pay off.
Yeah, it's just I have friends that talk about their college debt.
Yep.
And some of them are still paying it off well into their 40s.
That's right.
And that is something likely you don't want to be
not a good
doing.
Thing. Yeah.
We talked about good debt and bad debt before.
Yeah.
Good debt would be like a house payment. Bad debt would be like a credit card. College debt, a lot of it is bad. Like if you have an excess amount of debt.
Yep. Yeah. And on top of that, so somebody graduates from college with $100,000 in debt and is going to be a school teacher, and then he or she meets Mr. Right or Mrs. Right in college, who also graduates with $100,000 in debt, who wants to be a school teacher, and now they're starting their life and they decide to get married. Now they're starting their life with $200,000 in debt, and the first thing parents are going to tell them is, well, don't rent, because you need to start building equity. So they go buy a house, and a realtor will tell you buy as much house as you can buy. So there's another $300,000 in debt. Mm-hmm. Funny thing, once you buy a house, then you got to buy furniture, and and before you know it, a 30-year-old couple making $80,000-$90,000 a year combined may have $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 in total debt. Some of it good debt,
Sure.
Mortgage. Some of that would be debt that might be really difficult. The interest rate sometimes gets so high that it's hard to pay off. So pay attention to that.
Yeah. And again, college is not 100% a financial decision. There is some amount of, I kind of don't like this college. I'd like to go to this college that's about the same price, but in a different state or whatever. But it is something to think about.
Yeah.
Know what you're getting into. One of the things that we talk about and maybe would recommend is if you don't have like a direct, I'd like to do this after college, you might consider doing some basics at community college and even further knocking down the college loan debt.
Man, community college and all that, make sure the hours count. And especially if you're looking for a college, pretty much where you're going to go the last 3 years for your degree. The hours count the same, and they're just going to be way, way cheaper. I think I've told this story before. I got to speak at Pepperdine University, which is a affiliated college with our denomination. Back when you and Caleb, your younger brother, were getting ready to go to college, it was $500,000 for each of you. And I have a friend that works there saying, your boys have to come here. I'm going, for $500,000 for each, $1 million for both, what are the guarantees? And of course, there are none.
Sure.
So money was the big thing. But the other thing that made me give pause, as I said, you were taking junior college courses in your senior year of your high school, and you had a PhD teaching a math class. And I remember telling my friend, if they come here, a PhD isn't going to teach a math class. A teacher assistant or professor assistant is going to teach the math class while he does research. So we're paying less money and have a PhD teaching for a basic math class, that seems to be a better deal. So at least consider these things, at least talk about these things, just to make sure that, not hurting your students' feelings today might put them in a much better financial situation 10 years from now.
Yeah. So again, these are just some things to think about. If you have any questions about college planning,
Yep.
We have a couple different ways that you can contact us. The first way is via email address, and that would be info@swandfw.net. Or we have a phone number that you can call, and that is 888-792-6339. That spells out 888-SWAN-DFW.
Yeah.
Both of those will be in the description wherever it is you are watching or listening.
And the last thing, you get your FAFSA stuff in. Several years ago, I had the opportunity, because we did a couple of workshops for colleges, had an opportunity to talk with the parents and the student. And the parents didn't feel comfortable talking about the financial stuff. And so they invited me to speak into the student stuff. And I got to tell you, there was only a handful, maybe 3. All of them took it well. They understood what I was talking about. I don't know if it made if they changed what they were going to do, but at least
added awareness.
Yeah, added awareness. They're not going to wake up in 10 years and say, I wish somebody would have told me, because somebody told them and they decided to do something else, and hey, they're adults. They can do whatever they want to. So thank you for joining us today, and leave us a like and give us a smiley face. Share this with people, and we're here to try to be helpful. And this is one of the first, the biggest decision that an 18, 19-year-old is going to do. Let's do it wisely.
Yeah. So thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you all in the next one.
Thank you. God bless.
The preceding content is informational only and based on information available when created. It is not an offer or solicitation, nor is it tax or legal advice. It does not consider your financial circumstances and objectives and may not be suitable for you.